All right, now I'd like to show you the audio display. Now, audio is an option with the LV5770, and you can choose between digital audio or analog audio. With the digital audio option, you have the ability to look at up to 8 channels of embedded audio at one time, or 8 channels of discrete audio via the 4 B and C connectors that are actually on the back of the unit. The digital audio gives you 2 options, an option 41 and an option 43. The option 43 also encompasses a loudness display for anybody that needs to be able to check and make sure that their audio content is compliant with the COM Act based on loudness issues. All right? And then the analog audio option is available too, and that one has to be ordered with the digital audio, can't be just separate. So audio is an option, but it gives you the capability of monitoring both analog and digital, both embedded and discrete. Okay? So we go back over to the monitor and we select from the picture display and we press the audio button again over in the mode selection on the right hand side, and it brings up this particular display and the menu down below. So if we go, for example, to F1, our first choice, this is where you select between looking at embedded audio that's coming in or selecting external digital audio or selecting external analog audio. Okay? So we go back to the SDI selection. And then F2 and F3 are basically whether you're monitoring group 1 and 2 or group 3 and 4, each one consisting of 8 channels from that SDI signal coming in. All right? And we do allow you to be able to look at the phase relationship of all 16 channels by making this selection in the menu. Now, the normal menu that you see here, or I should say the normal display that you see here, allows you to be able to monitor 8 channels at one time, looking at the levels of up to 8 channels, and it also shows you the phase relationship of those 8 channels. Now we go back up menu, and the second choice, F2, is the type of display you want to look at. This one we consider to be our Lissajous display, the Lissajous display being the phase display that you see over on the left-hand side. And the unit is also capable of looking at 5.1 surround sound. So when you select surround off the menu, you get a surround sound display along again with a 8-channel bar graph. So you can look at 5.1. There's also a status display, which in effect can show you if there happens to be any issues in regards to the digital audio coming in. And since we've been switching back and forth between the sources we have here, you see that it's showing that there's a lot of errors. That's just simply because we're switching sources. The last one happens to be the loudness display that I was mentioning before. And again, the loudness display is based on the COM Act, the ATSC A85, which, as we look at this display here, allows you to look at the peak levels of up to 8 channels of audio that's present. The bar graph in the middle is showing you the overall loudness for all of those channels at one time. And if we come in here, in effect, and we start the monitoring, what you're seeing here is the levels that we're showing for integrated and momentary loudness based on the standard. And we also happen to plot the loudness over time. Now that information can also be retrieved from it via the USB port that you see here on the right-hand side. The normal logging time is 2 hours, but we do also have an option which can allow you to monitor and log over 30 hours. Okay? So that's the loudness display. We'll come back here and we'll switch back to the Lissajous display. We'll take a moment for it to reconfigure back to the standard display as such. And then meter setup, when we go down and drop down to that menu, allows you to decide whether you want a scale that corresponds to -60 or -90 or magnified. And in terms of response on F2, you can have as true peak, ppm, or as VU. Listen-Juice setup. This allows you to make adjustments, once again, like with the waveform display, where you can adjust the intensity of the trace that you see here for phase, and the scale, and the multi-display. If you're only looking at 2 channels, like we are in this particular representation, you can simplify the Listen-Juice display so it looks like that, okay? Also, some people like to look at the phase indication as an XY representation, and some like to look at it as a matrix display, and that's also easily selectable from the menu. We'll jump back up to the main menu, and we'll go to F5. F5 happens to be the headphone setup. As you notice, we do have a 1/4-inch jack on the right-hand side. This allows you to be able to monitor the audio that's coming in. F1 allows you to adjust the volume, and F2 and F3 allow you to select what channels that you want to be able to monitor. As an option, you can also have a Dolby decoder on the digital audio card. So you can not only choose the digital audio as an option, but on top of that, you can have a Dolby decoder, which can decode Dolby Digital and Dolby E, and give you some of the metadata that's present in that Dolby stream.